As promised, a festive season is setting in now, and in Elsies River, the community there is uniting in a mass prayer rally against gang violence. Residents, crime fighters, religious structures, and residents are aiming to reclaim the streets from the grip of gang violence that has long plagued the Cape Flats. The community, which has endorsed years of bloodshed, says enough is enough. Newzroom Afrika reporter Nasiphi Same is joining us live now. She is with that community. Nasiphi, good to have you. What are we learning?
Well, we have heard a number of communities, when they do protest against gang violence and even gun violence along the Cape Flats, is that many of these communities always echo the same sentiments, which is enough is enough. And many usually say that they're claiming or reclaiming their streets. And today in Elsies River, community members, religious fraternity, including crime fighters, the CPF, is banding together, looking to take to the streets of Elsies River in hope that their voices will be heard by the gangsters in their particular communities, where they are saying that, or rather calling for an end to the bloodshed. In just the recent months alone, just last month actually, the death or the murder of a 14-year-old boy shook this particular community. 14-year-old was making his way to school, caught in a crossfire between rival gangs. And a month prior that, another 14-year-old was gunned down inside his home while sleeping. But to talk to us more about this particular march, I'm joined by Imran Mukaddin, who is the PRO of the CPF. We see the community members rallied here together, about to embark on this protest march in through the streets of Elsies River. What are you hoping to achieve? We've seen many of these marches previously.
Well, the idea is to send a message that as a community we want peace and that we want less blood on our streets. We don't want blood on our streets anymore, and we're going into the festive season and we're asking for at least a peaceful Christmas, and let's go into 2025 with a new spirit of unity as a community, and also that we actually sending a message that we are fed up of all this violence and especially the young children dying at the rate that they are in our communities.
Are there any fears that as you're reclaiming these streets as crime fighters and residents as well, that there might be some sort of retaliation from gangsters?
We believe, because we've got the majority of the faith leaders in Elsies River, the church congregations, I think they carry a lot of weight. So in terms of getting the different faiths together and sending a clear message that, as the faith community through their congregations, we hope that we reach them. The risk of retaliation will always be there, but the risk of not doing anything is much worse.
We have obviously seen Jamal just recently was caught in a crossfire, the teenager there. The month prior it was Elroy. But if you could paint a picture for us in the bloodshed that you describe, how many deaths are we seeing in the community of Elsies River? And perhaps if there's any stats for this year alone, how many people have been caught in the crossfire of gang violence?
It's a bit difficult to give stats. We can't rely on the stats that we're getting from SAPS alone. We know that the stats from the Health Department paints a very gruesome picture of 1,600 young children under the age of 17 either injured or killed in the past 6 months or 9 months. So it's quite dramatic, and we're seeing it, the reality of it. We see on an almost weekly basis, we see these young boys under 17 being killed, and quite brutally so. It's like they are being killed execution style. You mentioned crossfire. Jamil wasn't caught in crossfire. He was actually targeted. The assailant shot him and then chased other school children in school uniform with a firearm. Shot 2 young girls as well. So we're seeing this brutal onslaught on our children, and I think that is what speared this movement and got the community involved to say we can't tolerate this anymore. We need to send a clear message, hands off our children, especially young boys.
And what is the cause of this gang violence? I mean, we're seeing it in other communities on the Cape Flats, Hanover Park, throughout the year. Gun violence and gang violence. What is the root cause of it?
Well, there's a lot of contestation for drug turf. We've got new drugs like cocaine and heroin, that's more lucrative. We've got a lot of the known kingpins and gang leaders either in trial or have been killed. So we're dealing with quite a situation where there's a huge leadership vacuum as well. So that is the situation we find ourselves. But a lot of those factors are driving the violence that we're seeing. But the most pressing factor, is the prevalence of firearms. There's just too much guns. And our appeal is to get the guns off the street. Because if we can get the guns off the streets, we can get some form of peace.
We'll have to leave it there. Imran Mukadin, the CPF of Elsies River here. The community now is currently about to gather as they're going to embark on this march, reclaiming their street and making their voices heard to the gangsters in the community of Elsies River. We heard now from Imran that the issue and the proliferation of illegal firearms and ammunition is at the core of the many troubles that Cape Flats communities have, including the proliferation of drugs and the turf wars that then escalate into not only gang violence, but young children not only being targeted, but we're hearing now from Imran that they rather not being caught in a crossfire alone, but we're hearing now from the CPF that young children are also being targeted in these shootouts with gangsters.
Nasiphi Same, we appreciate your intervention this afternoon. That's our Nasiphi Same, they're live in the Western Cape.